Why do you feel the need to tell the world what you're working on before it's done? Why the urge to announce your plans, your goals, your next move, as if speaking it out loud will make it more real? The truth is, in this world full of noise, attention has become the new currency, and people spend it recklessly, revealing dreams that haven't even been built, posting progress that isn't real, chasing validation instead of transformation. But attention is not growth. Applause is not achievement. Being seen is not the same as becoming. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to broadcast your journey to prove it matters. There is a strength that lives in silence, a quiet fire that burns deep when no one's watching. While others chase moments of recognition, you must chase mastery. While they seek comfort in likes and compliments, you must seek truth in the grind, in the sweat, in the parts no one claps for, because that's where greatness is born. Not under the spotlight, but in the shadows, in the hours that pass unnoticed, in the moments when it's just you, your work, and your will to rise. Every time you stay silent and keep building, you gain an edge. You strip away distractions. You protect your energy. You sharpen your focus. And without the weight of outside opinions, you grow freely, unfiltered, uninfluenced, pure. That's when you become dangerous. When you no longer need validation to feel worthy. When you no longer chase approval to believe you're enough. Because in silence, you find discipline. And in discipline, you find freedom. Let them wonder what you're doing. Let them question your absence. Let them doubt your pace. Your silence is not weakness, it's preparation. Every hour you put in, unseen, is a brick in the foundation of something they'll never forget. One day, the world will look up, and there you'll be, not because you screamed the loudest, not because you begged for their attention, but because your results were too loud to ignore. You don't owe anyone your plan. You don't have to prove anything until you're ready. And when that day comes, when the work is done, when the growth is undeniable, when the transformation is complete, you won't need to say a word. Your presence will speak. Your success will echo. And all those who overlooked you will be forced to pay attention. So hold the line. Stay in the dark. Keep moving in silence. Not because you're hiding, but because you're evolving. Not because you're afraid, but because you're focused. There is power in privacy, there is strength in restraint, and there is beauty in becoming something powerful when no one saw it coming. Work hard in silence, not to avoid the world, but to shock it. Because when the results come, they won't ask what you were doing. They'll ask how you did it. The ones who win are not the loudest. They are the most disciplined. Not the ones flashing their routines or documenting their effort, but the ones buried deep in the process, choosing focus over fame. Success doesn't ask for witnesses. It asks for consistency. It demands sacrifice in the shadows, the kind of sacrifice that's easy to quit when no one's clapping for you. But those who endure the silence without needing applause are the ones who rise the highest when it's time. This is where you separate yourself. Not when it's exciting, not when it's new, but when it's boring, when it's lonely, when no one cares. And you keep going anyway. That's real power. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's getting up early when it would be easier to sleep in. It's staying late when you'd rather walk away. It's repeating the basics over and over until they're so sharp they cut through anything in your way. Most people won't do that. They'll post about it, they'll talk about it, but they won't live it. And that's, you have to train your mind to reject easy. Easy is a lie. Comfort is the enemy of growth. You weren't built to coast. You were built to climb. Every shortcut comes with a cost. Every excuse steals from your future. So the question is not whether you're capable. The question is whether you're willing to pay the price in silence. because the price is always paid in advance, long before the recognition, long before the success, long before anyone believes in you. You've got to believe in yourself enough to put in the work when it feels like no one cares. But here's the truth. Every day, you stay locked in. Every decision to push through. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction, you're not just working on a goal. You're becoming the kind of person who refuses to quit. You're building mental muscle, emotional resilience, a version of yourself that's unstoppable. And that's the reward most people never reach. Not the trophy, not the status, but the transformation. That's the real win. Becoming someone who can't be broken because you trained in silence long before anyone was watching. So keep grinding, keep going. The results will come. But the person you become along the way, that's what will truly shock the world. Because when you walk into a room with that kind of presence, that kind of depth, people won't just see your success. They'll feel it. They'll sense the weight behind your words, the truth behind your eyes, the work behind your wins. And you'll know you earned every ounce of it. Not with noise, not with validation, but with discipline, with repetition, with silence. That's what makes your success undeniable. That's what makes it unshakable. Keep going. Your future is counting on it. There's a certain kind of power that comes from being overlooked. When they count you out, when they don't see your potential, when they underestimate your drive, that's your advantage. Because while they're watching someone else, you're building. While they're doubting you, you're growing. And when you're not seen as a threat, you're free. Free to rise without resistance. Free to fail, to adapt, to evolve without the weight of expectation. That freedom is rare. Use it. Let them doubt you. Let them think you don't have it in you. Every ounce of disbelief they throw your way can be turned into fuel. You don't need to prove them wrong with your words. That's a trap. You prove it with your silence, with your discipline, with the pressure you put on yourself when no one else does. Being underestimated isn't a weakness. It's the perfect storm. It removes the noise, strips away the pressure, and leaves you with nothing but the mission. The mission to outwork, outlast, and outgrow. Not for them. For you. Because there's nothing more satisfying than showing up prepared when no one expected you to. There's nothing more powerful than entering a room and owning it because you earned every step in private. They laughed? Good. They ignored you? Better. They said you wouldn't make it? Perfect. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them assume. Because every time they forget you, you become more dangerous. Every time they look away, you get sharper. And when the day comes, and it will, when your work is undeniable, when your growth is visible, when your results are unignorable, they won't know what hit them. That moment doesn't come from ego. It comes from alignment, from knowing who you are and refusing to let the world define your limits. The truth is, the greatest strength isn't in being seen, it's in being ready. And readiness is born in silence, in obscurity, in being willing to walk through the fire when no one claps for you. Your value doesn't come from their recognition. It comes from your persistence, your hunger, your refusal to stop when most would fold. You're not doing this to impress them. You're doing this because something inside you knows you're meant for more, even if they don't see it yet. So let them doubt. Let them overlook. Let them laugh. That's not your concern. Your only focus is to keep moving forward, quietly, consistently, ferociously. because every second they spend sleeping on you is a second you spend rising. And one day, they won't be able to deny what you've become. Not because you told them, not because you shouted, but because your success will walk in before you do. And the silence they once mistook for weakness will echo like thunder. Stay hidden, stay hungry, the world won't see you coming. And that's exactly how it should be. The moment you realize you no longer need to be understood, everything changes. You stop chasing attention, you stop explaining your vision to people who were never meant to see it. You stop waiting for approval from those who don't have the strength to walk the path you've chosen. That's when your energy shifts. That's when your focus locks in. And that's when results start speaking in a voice louder than any words ever could. Because when you've done the work in silence, when you've suffered without showing it, when you've sacrificed and stayed committed behind the curtain, your arrival hits differently. You don't walk in begging for validation. You walk in carrying proof. You don't need to convince them you're capable. Your results do that for you. There is no arrogance in quiet confidence. There is no ego in undeniable excellence. And when that moment comes, when they finally see you, you won't need to speak. Your presence will say it all. People remember what they can't ignore. They forget the noise. They forget the ones who shouted the loudest, but they remember the one who showed up with fire in their eyes and results in their hands. They remember the ones who rose from nowhere and brought something real to the table. That's who you become when you choose patience over pride, consistency over clout, and mastery over attention. You rise without the noise. You evolve without the permission. And when your moment arrives, it won't feel like a surprise. It will feel like justice. But even then, you stay grounded. You don't use success to feed your ego. You use it to fuel your purpose. You don't let the spotlight blind you. You let it reveal what was already there. The work, the grit, the resilience, the hours no one saw, but that shaped everything. That's how you shock them. Not with drama, not with noise, with truth, with performance, with results that can't be ignored because they came from something deeper than they came from becoming. This is what you were built for. Not for applause, not for followers, for impact, for greatness forged in silence, for a legacy carved through relentless action, not empty words. You've come too far to shrink now. Too much has been earned in the dark for you to doubt what's ahead. Let your actions declare what your voice never had to. Let your success carry the weight of all the silence it was built in. You don't owe the world an explanation. You owe yourself the result of everything you've endured. So stay focused, stay ruthless with your standards, stay humble but never small. The silence was never a weakness. It was your foundation. And now you rise, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Quietly built, unshakably strong, ready to walk in and let the outcome do all the talking. That's how you shock them. With success, with presence, with the power of what you've become. There's a certain silence that follows greatness, not because it's empty, but because it's complete. When your work finally catches up with your vision, there's nothing left to prove. No need to explain how long it took, how hard it was, or how much it cost you. The results speak with a voice louder than doubt, cleaner than talk, more permanent than opinion. And those who once looked past you, they're left stunned not because you said anything, but because your existence now challenges everything they thought was possible. You didn't rise through noise, you rose through clarity. You didn't need their permission, you gave it to yourself. And now, you're not here to fit in. You're here to set a new standard. One built in silence, on repetition, on nights no one noticed, and that is the kind of success no one can take from you. That is the kind of success no one can take from you. When you rise, they win. They couldn't do that, no one can do that. No one is like them that can do that. Because it's not luck. It's not a moment. It's not hype. It's built from substance, layer by layer, decision by decision, until it becomes who you are. This kind of power is quiet. It doesn't boast. It doesn't beg. It simply is. And when you carry that energy, people feel it before you speak. They notice something different, something unshakable. It's the energy of someone who's been through the fire and didn't ask for sympathy. Someone who suffered without shouting, who struggled without stopping, who stayed locked in long after others gave up. That depth becomes your identity. It's not about being noticed. It's about being undeniable. Everything you've done in private starts to show in public, not because you forced it, but because you earned it. The patience, the pain, the persistence, it all begins to pay off, not just in trophies or recognition, but in confidence, clarity, and inner peace. You know who you are now. You know what you can survive, and you no longer need anyone to believe in you because you've seen what happens when you believe in yourself. This is the reward for the silence. Not just the success, but the strength. The kind of strength that doesn't need noise to feel powerful. The kind of presence that doesn't demand attention, but commands respect. You didn't just build results, you built character. You didn't just prove others wrong, you proved yourself right. And that is the most satisfying kind of victory. The quiet kind, the earned kind, the kind that lives long after the moment fades. So keep walking in silence. Let your steps echo through every room. Let your focus speak for itself. Let your actions build the legacy your words never needed to explain. They won't see it coming, they never do. And that's exactly what makes it powerful. You don't need to raise your voice, you just need to raise your standard. Again and again, until the world has no choice but to recognize what you became when no one was watching. That is how you shock them. With presence, with proof, with power that doesn't need to shout